Hello all, welcome back to the next one. In this one, we'll talk about reporters in TestNG and also how can we generate HTML reports using TestNG. So reporters are nothing but kind of a replacement of Log4j. I mean, the Log4j is a different tool or APIs that we usually use to write logs, like whatever statements that we want to print. Usually we don't use this system.out.println, right? We have different login mechanism in our application, and the most popular one is log4j or maybe log4j2. So we can log statements in console or we can log statements in external files also. But TestNG also provides one more mechanism to log the statements, and that is known as reporter. The only benefit is the statements that we log using the reporter goes into the reports that are generated by TestNG automatically. So that's the only benefit I see, but I don't see it as a replacement of log4j because I would still recommend you guys to continue using whatever you are using. It completely depends on you what you want to use in your application. I generally prefer log4j too, but reporter is also a good stuff. Basically what you can do is you can do a mix and match of both the things. For all individual actions you can probably use log4j, and then for high level actions like test started, test entered, or maybe test finished, or maybe some high level actions, you can use reporter so you can see them in TestNG reports if at all you are using TestNG reports. So let's take a look. What I have here is I have a testng underscore reports and logs file created. It's just a usual file that we always create. It has methods like before class, after class, before method, after method, and three test methods I created. Test method 1, it's gonna be normal successful test case. Test method 2, I'm intentionally failing this test method. And test method 3, it is also a normal test case, but what happens is it depends on test method 2. So if test method 2 fails, then we're gonna have test method 3 skipped. I'm intentionally doing it so we can have three different kind of results. One is successful, one is fail, and one is skipped. So we can see all of them in the report. So till now we were just using system.out.println statements. With reporter, what we can do here is I'm gonna first show you the import statement. So this is the import statement. Import org.testng.reporter. Make sure that you have the correct import statement. Once you have that, then let me just delete and then write it again for you. So we will say reporter dot log, and these are different overloads. I'm going to use the second one and I'll show you what that is. So it accepts two arguments. The first one is string s, which is the message that we want to log, and the second one is log to standard out, which means if we want to print the same message on the console or not. Standard out is the console. So we can use the same message from here, and I'm just gonna use the same message. And this one, if I say false, let's see the difference. I'm gonna just say false and right click this file, run it as testng test, and it ran the test case. We can see 3 tests run, 1 failed, 1 skipped, and 1 was successful. We can see it here as well. And here it printed out once. This runs before every class, and then this runs before every method. So before every class is printed only once, even though we have two statements here, right? Even though we have two statements, it only printed once. The reason is we set false to standard out. If I provide it true, it's gonna print it twice. First from the system.out.println and then second from the reporter.log. So again, run it as testng test. And now we can see this runs once before class is printed twice. And we got it right? So what we can do here is we can actually replace the system.out.println statements with the reporter.log. So I'm just gonna maybe copy all of them, and we can use the second overload and everything. So just cut it from there, paste it, and this one can always be kept true because we always want to log, currently at least for the demo purpose, we always want to log to the console so we can see the output really handy. If we don't print it here, we will not be able to see it in the console. So it's just a good idea to keep it there. So let's replace all these messages. I'm just gonna show you that even if we remove every system.out.println statement, we are still good to go. We can achieve the same thing using the reporter logs. So let's just quickly try to replace them, and all these are done. Only 3 methods are left, so let me just quickly copy them here so we can save some time, and copy these messages, delete system.out.println statement, and copy this message, delete this one, and we are just left with the last statement. So we'll just put it here, and that's about it. So now we are not using any of the system.out.println statements, and we are just using reporter.log, and we can run it as TestNG test, and we can still see everything getting printed up here because we are using the true as the argument. Now the other part of the question is generating the HTML reports. What do we have to do to generate the reports? The good part is we don't have to do anything. TestNG takes care of it automatically, and it does it. The only thing that we want to do here is we cannot generate reports if we right click the file and run the code. We have to create an XML file, the TestNG suite file, and then run that as a TestNG suite, and then it will automatically generate the report for us. So let me just do that. So I created this XML file. It's again the same file, there is no difference. I just changed the class name. If I run this file, right click, run as TestNG suite, you will see the difference. So just pay attention on the left side in the project, and you will see one test output folder. So it is run, everything is run successfully. And when I refresh the project, right click the project, refresh it, there we go. We see this test-output folder, and if I expand it, I can see a lot of different things here. So there are 2 reports. One is emailable-report.html and the other is index.html. We can open them from here as well. If I double click it, it will open in Eclipse. But since they are HTML files, we should actually go to the location, and we should be able to open it on the browser as a normal file also. And if you don't know where these files are located on your system, just right click this one, or maybe just right click your project and see the properties. You will see the location, and if you are on Windows also, you will still be able to see the location. So you need to figure out where you created this one. So I have it on Documents, Workspace, Personal, and there's the project that I created, TestNG tutorial. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go to Documents and my Workspace, Personal, and then TestNG tutorial. This is the project. So everything is right here inside it. I can go to the source folder, I can figure out all the packages, everything is there. I can copy any code file also from here. So here is the test output folder. I'm going to double click it. It's going to present me all the files. So these are the 2 files, emailable report.html, and this opens in Firefox by default or any other browser that you have. So this is the report, kind of report we have. And the good part is now, since we had 3 different kind of test cases, it shows us 3 different places. So this one failed, test method, and it's in red. The one which was skipped is grayed out, test method 3, and the one which was successful is in green, test method 1. And we can see some error messages also for test method 2. We can click on them to actually reach where these methods are. So this one is for test method 1 and everything is successful. There is no other messages. So it's all good. And here in the summary it shows the test name was application test and it's coming from the XML file. And then how many are successful, how many are skipped, and how many are failed, and how much total time it took. So it's a pretty decent report, and the one we opened was emailable report.html. And now let's quickly take a look at the index.html. So this one is a different format, but essentially gives us the same thing. So you can see 3 methods here, one failed, one skipped, one was successful. You can click on the test method 2, it'll show you the errors. You can click on test method 3, it'll show you what happened with that. And so basically it's already showing the name of the class. Test method 2 is here, test method 3 is here, so everything is shown. And then what was successful when I clicked show. So we can hide and show, right? When I click show, it shows me for the test method 1 also. The other part here interesting is this reporter output. So if I click on this, it tells me the output from the reporter. So test method 1, this was the statement that we printed. From test method 2, this was the statement that we printed. So anything that we print using the reporter log, these statements are shown in the report up here. Yes, but we don't see anything from the before class, before method, and those things, because the reason it is only kind of concerned about the test methods. So we see the statements only from the test methods here. So there we can see the reporter output also. So pretty much kind of a decent report. It's not really fancy, but it's still a decent report to start with. You can kind of use it, and that's about it. So the good part is we don't need to do anything extra. It just comes by default. It just comes with the default settings. TestNG does everything for us. So it's still quite handy. So that's about it. I will say please go ahead, download the code file, practice a little bit, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for running this one. Thanks.